This is the Hidden Killers podcast with Tony Brueski.
With licensed psychologist and guest John Delatorre.
Shanna Gardner and Mario Saldana, both charged in the murder of Jared Bridegan. This is the man who was dropping his kids off with Shanna, went back onto the road and saw a man with a flat tire, or a tire in the road rather, stopped and then was executed right there in the road while one of his children was in the vehicle. They, of course, have been charged. One of the former associates of Saldana coming out flat out and saying, yes, these two hired me to take out Jared. Is it as clear-cut as it looks, though? I guess that is the question. Many documents recently released, the initial police interviews with both Shanna and Mario have come out. And I got to say, I had a chance to look over these a bit, and it's one-sided, obviously. But I think it's important to take a look at this case from both sides, because we've only really been looking at it from the one of a family that was really in a lot of distress here, probably on both sides. Two people, and this is not uncommon, two different ways and ideas on how to raise their children, and both very much opposing one another. This is something where, is this a case where maybe there is somebody else here at play? The family, from all accounts that we're seeing here, didn't necessarily seem to want to hurt each other, according to their affidavits. Not that they would come out and say that, but from what I'm reading on both counts, Jared wasn't always the most likable guy. And I'm not trying to talk ill of the dead here or the victim, but it does make you wonder a little bit if there was someone else possibly at play that maybe wanted to be a hero for what they thought, was not the best way of parenting, or thinking maybe they were going to be helping out maybe friends, the Saldana and his wife. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, we're starting to see a lot of cases like this where, there's some kind of high conflict, divorce or high conflict sort of child custody assessment, child custody case or something like that. And all of a sudden, some third party comes out of nowhere and ends up killing the one other party. We've been seeing a lot of this stuff, and it's very curious to me because there are no coincidences in murder cases. Mm-hmm. So I don't think that there's some kind of outside influence that just because he wasn't a good guy, we only know that he wasn't a good guy because of what other people are saying about him. Yep. And they have reasons to say that this guy is not a good guy. So it's hard for me to believe that he did something and then some third party came in. It seems more likely that someone decided that they were going to take this a step further, that they weren't getting what they needed, and this guy was in the way of getting whatever it is that they were looking to get, and so he needed to go. Mm-hmm. And I think that's when you're trying to present a case to a jury, you have to really keep it that simple. Yeah. And I think this is really the best sort of case theory that the prosecution can really come up with.
It's a really weird relationship when you look at it. The relationship between Jared and Shanna, to look at how it all formed. They met through Jared's brother's wife. They were both single. They were not in the same state. Jared flew out to take her on a date. Apparently it did not go very well. He, I guess, continued to pursue her, and they were married within 2 months. And again, this is coming from Mario, and it's also coming from Shanna's accounts of the relationship. So that should be part of the context here. But it just seems bizarre. Within 2 months, and you're not that happy, but you're going to get together with this person. She's wondering if there's ulterior motives because she's coming from money. But they get into this thing, and then shortly thereafter, she realizes she's not that in love with him, ends up falling now for Mario at the gym. And that, again, another very quick relationship. And the only reason that she entered, according to these accounts, into a marriage with Mario was because Jared said the only way that he can be around the kids is if they are, in fact, married. I mean, it points to a cornucopia of, I think, probably mental health problems going on here, probably on everyone's part.
Yeah, for sure on everyone's part. There's definitely some misperceptions about what a relationship is supposed to be, how healthy relationships are supposed to go. Right? It also suggests that there might be some ulterior motives as to why people would enter into such serious relationships. But the fact of the matter is that we're only learning about this because of something tragic that happened. I think that relationships like this exist and they happen all of the time. They just don't end this way.
Yeah, I mean, it is a very curious way to end something. It just kind of takes us back to the beginning thought of, is there something else at play here? Is there a vigilante at play here who thought, this is going to be better for the kids if they're raised in this direction or that direction? One of them very different than the other. One in the Mormon church, one not at all. One with very strict ways of raising, one without. It makes me wonder a little bit of, okay, the family here, and I just complete speculation, but the family of Shanna, very wealthy, and it kind of makes me think a little bit about the case out of Florida where the mother now is being charged with murder after her son was already convicted. Charlie was convicted of murdering the son-in-law. I'm just wondering if there's more at play, if there's something deeper into these families that said, hey, I'm going to take control. I'm the matriarch or the patriarch or whatever. I don't know. And I'm going to try and fix this problem for you. But it doesn't necessarily fix the accusation that comes from the actual hitman that says, no, these two are the ones who hired me to do this. Would there be a reason why he would say that these two are the ones who made me do this if it wasn't that case?
I don't know. I have no insight into the professional ethics of a hitman, but I have to imagine that if he says that these are the people that paid him, then I would have to believe that those are the people that paid him. He has no reason to lie.
Yeah, and that seems to be kind of the sinking factor on a lot of this. When you look at the other possibilities, that's the one I don't know how they're going to be able to battle that argument in court, considering he took a plea deal to turn them in.
Yeah, no, I think ultimately what you say is that this guy's a professional killer. Professional killers need to be able to lie and convince themselves that what they're doing is okay. So why can't you believe anything he says, because he's got to do all this nefarious stuff anyway. So as a defense, I'm going to say, sure, that's what he says, but that doesn't make it true.
Sick of the ads?
We are too.
Start listening with no commercials now and get access to all of our episodes in advance of everyone else.
Become a True Crime Today Premium Plus subscriber on Apple Podcasts.
Search True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts or go to our podcast page and sign up now.
True Crime Today Premium Plus.
Sign up now.